No.
You are joking, Holmes? I feel ridiculous, Holmes.
Now, Watson, come and stand here in front of me. You shall play the role of the poor woman and I shall play that of the murderer. Let's try to reconstruct the facts to ensure the final result corresponds indisputably to the way that Polly Nichols was killed.
Right. This is a very awkward scene. Yeah, I thought he was going to put...
I hope that, as with the real murder, nobody had to witness all of that, Watson. If the murderer used his right hand astride his victim, there wasn't much room.
Okay, so... Right, so... Left hand. Lying down. No, lying down.
No, I don't think that things went like that. The murderer didn't attempt to stab his victim in the stomach.
Oh, neck, then.
The murderer had enough room to inflict the wounds to the neck, and these wounds suggest the left hand was used.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, closer. This just looks wrong. That was definitely
The murderer had enough room to...
Right. Back away slowly. There you go, right. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so Paul's phrase about it, the victim was holding a body and left at the time of murder, but the victim wasn't cold. The victim was... There you go. So means she wasn't... I suppose that was it. No, 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 no! Yeah, she obviously wasn't afraid. She didn't have a bonnet. She obviously did have a bonnet, right. So Bella was holding a bonnet in her hand at the time of the bonnet. There we go. I was wondering when I was wondering when I was gonna be less of a div. Right, okay, so this seems success. Right, so let's just go here. Right, so that's it. More. What a god, if I... Like, the victim must have been sitting on the victim... Must have been sitting on the victim with the left-handed, but... Being serious? I'm assuming there's more... I'm assuming there's more I need to look for. No, Sherlock said it was all the clues. Right, and then...
No, I don't think that things went like...
Okay.
If the killer positioned himself to the side of the victim to slit her throat, regardless of which hand he used, he would have risked seeing the blood flow uncontrollably towards him.
Right. Actually, you know what? Okay. I got an idea. Right. Give him standing up.
Yes, it's quite possible the events occurred like this. My dear Watson, now that we have found all of our clues, nothing remains but to subject them to our most likely hypotheses in order to deduce the facts.
Right, so now we've got that. What's this? gotta tell you, online schooling due to corona is what the even hell. Right. Okay. So now, and the mother was standing in front of the victim. Wait. Nope. The killer's right hand prevented the body from screaming. The way she relations. But and that's it. Schooling in general, even online, is not exactly great practice, so I don't blame you. Me neither. Right. At least we got that done. Right, so, victim of my jawline. Oh, my jawline. My jawline, which means I would have been right hand. This bruise caused. Yep. Murderer was standing strangled, but that is so. Strangled with his left hand. No. He was left-handed. Okay, there was a woman. Psst. Right hand. Right-handed? No, struggled with his right hand and then with the left. No, with the left. Yeah, left hand was prevented instead of screaming, and then the victim was by the right hand, which means he was. There you go.
The victim was most probably dead before being laid down. Once the heart stopped, gravity drained the body slowly, not in a heavy spurt that would have stained half the street.
Yeah.
Thank you, Holmes. I understand why you told me not to change clothes. Do you realize that our behavior didn't alarm anyone?
The victim's ordeal was even more discreet. By acting in silence, we have confirmed something. The crime definitely took place here.
Yeah.
The victim and her murderer were able to come here without making any noise, and afterwards the murder took place without the slightest cry being uttered. Come, Watson, let's go home. We have spent far too long in this sinister alley.
I am detective! Thank you, Simon.
And so, my dear Watson, the day and night which we passed in Whitechapel were enlightening, weren't they?
An adventure that I most certainly will never relate. To be in the skin of that poor woman. I prefer not to speak of it further. But have we really learned anything about the murderer? Obviously a man, given the necessary strength.
We have little to go on, at least no more than the police. But in my opinion, Inspector Aberline has a trick or two up his sleeve. No, I want to talk about the facts and what we can draw from them. We know where the crime was committed and under what conditions. I would like to ask you about the possible motives for the crime. According to you, Watson, what could have pushed the murderer to act in such a way?
Motives of this crime. Madness. Revenge? Okay, Simon, well, you have a good time. Thank you for the donations. I really appreciate donation. I greatly appreciate it. Hope you enjoy your day. Thank you. Bulleg! I'm so glad to see you. How are you? So happy to see you. How are you? Yay! Well, I guess I drove off site. No, he was gonna go out anyway. Yeah, send that message before you came in. Oh my, squeaky happy Kiwi is adorable. Why, thank you. I'm so happy to see you. Yay! Let's take the time to appreciate this man. Okay, let's take the time to appreciate this wonderful man. Okay, he has, he has supported me through thick and thin. Let's just give this man just some great happiness. You know what? You know what? You know what? You know what? He's gonna kill me for this, but you know what? You know what? You know what? You know what? What? That is a command. Oh, wait. Hold up. Whee! There you go. This man. Go check this man out. Please. Oh, before I do... Go check this man out. Go check this man out. You will not be disappointed. As I drink my tea. How dare! I love you, Tom. Let's see. You will. You very will. Anyways, right, okay. Okay. Oh, look at that! That's clever. Okay. Reset this way. Ugh! My brain has stopped working. Brain has stopped working. Right. In madness. Madness. Would be. That's revenge. Huh?
Revenge, Holmes?
Revenge could be a possible...
Revenge, Holmes?
Okay.
Revenge could be a possible motive, but with one small reservation. We have reason to believe that the victim considered her murderer to be a typical client.
Theft, perhaps?
I have a hard time believing that someone would attack poor Polly so fiercely just to rob her of a few coins.
Homicidal insanity, Holmes.
It is indubitable that the man who did this to Polly Nichols is not of his full senses.
A personal drama.
Love can certainly lead to many a drama, but we have to consider the fact that the victim didn't know her attacker.
Black magic?
I'm not terribly interested in the occult or black magic. Let's give the benefit of the doubt to this motive.
Alright.
Well, we are still missing certain information in order to finish this investigation, Watson.
Indeed.
Elementary. Very well, Watson. I think that we've exhausted the topic. Take a rest and we'll speak again later.
I just got up, so I have some things I have to get done.
It would seem that the investigation is advancing, Holmes.
Okay,
Yesterday's Star said that a suspect is in the hands of the police.
Hope
a man
everything
with
that
a
you
rather
have to do
sinister
goes well.
I
reputation.
was about to join
Thank you
you
for
in
the
your
luck.
optimistic outlook
Mwah.
until you informed me that the good news came from the press, Watson.
But surely they wouldn't invent the fact that the police are holding a suspect, or the acts that are attributed to him.
You will have an exact answer to these two questions in less than 50 seconds, Watson.
Pardon?
Enter, Inspector.
Hello, Inspector.
Good day.
Good day.
Dear Watson, allow me to introduce Inspector Aberline, Inspector Dr. Watson.
Inspector?
To what do we owe the honour of your presence, Inspector?
I heard that the two of you made your way to Whitechapel a few days ago. Your arrival, you are aware, coincides with a very serious affair which our police service is going to great lengths to solve and which is creating strong tensions in the area.
Pardon me, but haven't you arrested someone? A certain Leather Apron?
Absolutely not. The man who hides behind this name is indeed being actively searched for by the force. Besides, nothing at the moment suggests that he is the Bucks Row murderer.
There, you've been enlightened, Watson. Now it is our turn to answer Inspector Aberline's questions.
Indeed. I will be brief and precise. Do you intend to investigate this case, or have you already started?
It is to be of service to a friend that I went to Whitechapel. We did, out of curiosity, familiarize ourselves with the preliminary reports, and we made our way to the scene of the crime. Our conclusions are slim, as are the clues. Having not been officially appointed by a client, I believe that my intervention in this business will end there.
Very well. To be frank, you take the weight off my shoulders by distancing yourself from the case. Our image isn't very good, to say nothing of what the press puts us through. Thus, if overnight they found out that you were on the case, people would turn against us.
And they would pester me, overwhelm me, and finally make me out to be responsible for the inevitable failure such a scenario entails. Neither you nor I wish for this to happen. I know that your time is precious, Inspector. I will send you a note regarding my conclusions shortly.
With pleasure. Gentlemen?
Do you think that he will find the murderer?
The chances are slim to non-existent. It is 7 days now, short of a confession from the murderer himself.
And you will not go further?
You heard the Inspector, Watson. My presence in Whitechapel would hinder, which doesn't mean that we will drop the case.
How is that?
The Inspector spoke of me, but not of us. It is you, Watson, who will lead the investigation tonight. It is you who will bring to the police station the little note that I will write regarding our conclusions. Despite the late hour, there is nothing to stop you from making inquiries about this famous leather apron while you are there.
Wow, Sherlock, just wow. The nerve, the nerve, the fucking nerve. God, thanks, Sherlock. Just throw me under a bus there. I love you too. Right. I miss my collection of Jack the Ripper books. I've always wanted a copy of the collection of Dr. Watson's Adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
Well, if I follow Holmes's instructions, then to begin my investigation into this leather apron, I must first head to the police station.
That's pretty. But I'm talking about the books that go in great detail on Jack the Ripper cases. Yeah.
Good evening, sir. What do you... I know you. You were here last week with Sherlock Holmes.
I wasn't. Message from Holmes.
Indeed. I have come to bring a message from Sherlock Holmes for Inspector Aberline.
Very well, I will pass it on. But come to think of it, someone was asking about you recently. Finley, the caretaker of some shady boarding house nearby. Does that mean anything to you?
Ah, perhaps.
Oh, leather apron.
Actually, I read in the Star that you have arrested a suspect called Leather Apron.
You shouldn't believe what you read in that rag, sir. The man is being hunted, but we have yet to get our hands on him, and we aren't close to it either.
Why ever not?
Bah, he's a specialist in the streetwalker racket. These girls make pitiful witnesses, and we don't inspire confidence. Furthermore, the man seems to be pretty discreet lately. Someone must be helping to hide him.
How to find Leather Apron?
How to get on his trail, then?
One of these girls would have to confide in us and give a valid description of the man. Then we'd ask around the journeymen, who use aprons, I imagine.
Aww. Goodbye.
Well, goodbye. I must go to Finley's boarding house.
Yes. Which is not far from him. Gotta go take a nice bath and then write some. Okay, no worries. Go ahead.
Good evening, Finley.
Have a good bath.
Oh, good evening, sir. Aren't you the gentleman who was with the great detective the other time?
That is indeed me, Dr. Watson.
Please?
Tell me, Finley, I was told that you were looking for us at the police station.
Indeed, I wanted to thank you for last time, you know. That vagrant has never set foot round mine again. I even found a tenant, one who pays his rent, I mean.
The tenant?
You don't seem very happy, but you were lucky to have found a good tenant so quickly.
It's just that this man is very strange. He paid several days in advance and I gave him a key to the place. Since then, he goes out every night and returns at ungodly hours. I'm sure he goes to visit the ladies, but still, every night. And when he moved in, something must have broken in his case and stank up the stairs in his room for 2 days. I think it was a jar. It must be over there.
Leather apron.
Tell me, have you heard talk of Leather Apron?
By the papers, that's all. This man seems very sinister.
Do you know any journeymen who use this type of apron?
The slaughterhouse butchers, I believe, but definitely the cobblers. I know one, old Isaac Solomonovich. His workshop is on a small street in the Jewish community, across from the hospital. He's a good man. He can help you. But you know, the people there are very close and don't share much with non-Jews.
So racy, alright.
Thank you, Finley.
At your service, sir.
Got my service bitch. You're my bitch now. Anyways.
This odour is very strong indeed, but the whole neighbourhood as such has a dreadful stench. Finley might have an idea as to what this jar that contained.
What do you want, Doctor?
Your face.
You're right, the pieces of the jar that your tenant broke do give off a strange smell.
It's true. That's quite normal given his trade.
Yes, and what would the trade be of your strange tenant?
A doctor, like yourself, I believe. Dr. Tumblety, a foreigner. Canadian, perhaps.
Dr. Tumblety. It might be interesting to know more about him.
Goodbye.
Thank you, Finley.
At your service, sir.
Willoughby. You're still my bitch. Anyways. I might be interested to know more about. I fucking knock on the door. Oh, okay.
Commercial Street.
There's another sign.
Commercial Street.
Oh, it's you. I'm coming. Dr. Watson, how are you?
Well, and yourself? And how's your uncle?
Well, he sleeps a lot, but he doesn't seem to be suffering. Your medicine has worked wonders. Thank you again.
It was the least I could do.
A leather apron.
I have come to see you about a certain Leather Apron. Have you heard of him?
Oh, yes, of course. Terrible things are said about that man.
Have you ever come across him?
Goodness gracious, no. But I know that he has threatened and taken many girls in my situation. I don't know what more I can say, but Bella would be able to tell you some.
Who is Bella?
Who is Bella?
Bella Pullman. She's the landlady of the place where I could take you there if you like.
Please do.
It's me. It's Lucy. This gentleman would like to speak to Bella. It's the doctor who helped me. I must leave to return to my uncle. Thanks again.
Hello.
Out of the way, I don't like the look of you.
Alright. Alright. Out of the way I go. Oh, that's pretty. I like the walls. The walls are really nice.
Can I get a refill, please?
If you'd be patient, Madam Bella will arrive in a moment.
Alright.
Good evening. I am Dr. Watson. It is young Lucy who told me to come see you.
Ah, so you're the Good Samaritan who saved her uncle without asking for anything in return. And now you've come to see me, no doubt, to explain that the poor little thing doesn't belong here, and you will see to her future. Well, if you expect me to let her leave with you...
It's not that, Ma'am. You should know I am a married man.
And why should that matter?
I need some information.
I believe there has been a misunderstanding. The reason that Lucy sent me here is that you may be able to give me some information about Leather Apron.
Are you a doctor or a constable?
I am most certainly a doctor, but I am acting in this matter in a private capacity, and I would like to find this man.
Well, if you're able to rid us of him, I'll give you a week's worth of free passes.
Nice.
That man is a thorn in our sides. He spies on the girls in the streets and watches them inside the houses, spying through the windows. And as soon as they're finished with a client, he jumps on them without any warning and forces them to give him their money.
Oh.
I've never seen him, but one of my girls was attacked by this man, and she said that he wore a leather apron and carried a knife. And his face, oh, he has a horrible head with rat's eyes and a deformed mouth. She even said that she knew his name, Pizer or Pizer, I think. But I don't know where she can be found. Margie, Nutcracker, the girl I'm talking about, could tell you more, but I had to let her go last week.
Where is Margie?
Why did you let Margie go?
The poor girl caught a shameful sickness, and the symptoms have attacked her face, if you know what I mean. So I gave her notice, and a little bit to help her along. I don't know where she is now, but she'll certainly be getting treatment at the clinic if she's still in the neighbourhood.
Did you speak to the police?
What would they do? Who cares about the girls in the streets?
That's fair, yeah. Humbly?
Would you have received a visit from another doctor, a stranger by the name of Tumblety?
I'm just like you, Doctor, sworn to secrecy in my profession. But as I've taken a fancy to you, I can tell you that this name is not unknown to me. And if you do me a little favour, it is possible I might remember something about him.
What's this favour, you ask?
What kind of favour must I do for you?
You see that man over there? He's a rich artist, a painter, a regular client round here. Well, yesterday, he came and left his cane in the umbrella stand in the hall before going into one of the rooms. Well, when he returned to this room, the cane had disappeared. It's a cane with a massive silver knob. Must be worth a fortune. He threatened to call the police unless he got free services in my establishment for a year. I'll be forced to accept, unwillingly, of course, given the services that he's demanding, unless the cane is found.
Okay.
Did you question the residents regarding the theft?
They didn't see anything, and there's not one of them that would risk stealing from a client here.
Who was in the room when your weasel of a client was in the chambers?
There were a few that came and went, but Mary could tell you better than I can, because she was the one at the counter yesterday.
Oh.
Thank you, Ma'am.
No problem, my angel.
I like her. She's like a grandmother you want.
These paintings are suggestive, at the very least. These paintings are suggestive, at the very least.
That's very suggestive. Is it bad that I like these? These are very... In the mind of an artist, these are very beautiful and very elegant.
What happened to this rug?
Oh, it's when we got a coal yesterday. I asked the young man to fill the pail. Came back to put it down, but his feet were covered in soot and he made a black print. Madam Bella said it was my fault and I got a shilling's penalty. I also have to clean the print and it's no picnic. He has immense feet, that boy.
Theft?
I heard that there was a theft yesterday. Did you see anything?
No, and I was here the whole time.
Coleman?
Who delivers the coal?
It's never the same person. I've never seen that lad before.
Like the coat stand?
Do you always keep an eye on the coat stand?
Oh, yes. Well, when the coal delivery came, a client came out of the chambers and stopped me from seeing the boy who brought the bucket of coal. You don't think he would have taken advantage?
Until next time, miss.
With pleasure, sir.
Better be. Right,
Best not to stray off in that direction.
That's not the door. That's not the door. That's the door. Right, so... just... What delivery kind came out of the change to stop me from seeing the boy who bought the bucket of coal? Don't you think he would have taken advantage? Let's go back in. Let's try and find the coat thing.
Can I get a refill, please?
Best not to stray off in that direction. Best not to stray off in that direction.
Little paintings.
A large black footprint.
It's quite large. Often the painting. I smell mint. Why do I smell mint? I smell mint. I like that smell, but I smell mint. Doesn't look like there's anything. Hello?
Out of the way, I don't like the look of you.
You're in a rush, my pretty. Come,
Yep,
I'll
nope,
have you done
nope.
so quickly you'll only have time to pay.
No, just let me go. What I was doing. Ah, can't think. Thinking is not my wherewithal right now. It has to be one of the coal boys.
Come, my lord, a little coin. Oi!
I'll go down for that. I should find something.
I have nothing to ask.
It's very scary. I don't know. I know you. You were in the previous game. I don't think there's anything outside of the brothel. I apologize here for the quietness. Let's go back in.
These paintings are suggestive. These paintings are suggestive.
Yes, Dr. Watson?
Why did you let Margie go?
The poor girl caught a shameful sickness, and the symptoms have attacked her, so I gave her notice.
Did you
Okay.
speak?
Okay, right. I'm
Thank
gonna
you,
go
Mom.
to the clinic.
No problem, my angel.
Face is an angel. I'm gonna go to the clinic because I think the clinic can give me more information.
Good evening, Doctor. My name is Dr. Watson. Pleased to meet you.
Good evening. I am Dr. Gibbons. Likewise.
Margie.
I have come to see you about one of your patients. Margie goes by the nickname Nutcracker, who gets her prescription from the clinic. She's a lady of the night and is afflicted with a venereal disease.
I know who you're talking about. Indeed, Margie has syphilis and is being treated with mercury.
Do you have her address?
No. And for your information, she left London for good 3 days ago. She felt threatened.
Threatening.
Margie felt threatened. But by whom?
I believe that Margie was particularly scared of a terrifying man who attacked her once.
Did she say the name Pizer or Pyther?
Unfortunately, she didn't give a name, but she described a man with shifty, rat-like eyes and a mouth twisted in a sinister grimace.
Tucker?
Did Margie have any idea where this man who terrified her so much might be found?
No, but she told me that another girl who'd been attacked like her had told her that this man worked in a cobbler's run by an old Israeli. Also, she saw him again last week, the night of the big fire. She told of going to see the fire like most everyone else in the area. While there, she recognised her attacker in the crowds gathered at the warehouses. There was no mistaking a face like that, she said. She kept an eye on the man the whole time the firemen were working in order to avoid him.
Odd, but okay.
Goodbye, Dr. Gibbons.
Until we meet again, my dear colleague.
Right. So that's... Okay, so that gave me no information whatsoever.
This interview with the doctor revealed an important fact. Leather Apron could not be the Bucks Row murderer. According to Margie, the villain passed most of the night of the crime at the fire. He could not have been at the scene of the murder at the moment it was committed. He is, nonetheless, a dangerous character.
Yeah. It's a shame she left, though.